hearts of many in the country. And also elsewhere in France, the Catholic daily Le Croix strikes a similar tone with the headline Ukrainian Hope. Its front page editorial is entitled A Future to Invent. It says that Russia's gambit, which initially was beneficial to Ukraine, backfired, and that Viktor Yanukovych, like Bashar al-Assad, has been a, quote, very bad client for the Kremlin. And also 20 Minutes' front page, it's one of the free magazines, asks change and now what? And it notes that an interim president has been appointed and a national unity government is to be formed, but that Ukraine remains divided.
Now let's move on to a completely different story. Here in France, the government's planning to build a new airport, and it's caused havoc over the weekend.
Yes, it is. L'Opinion's main story is Hérault green with rage. That's a reference to Housing Minister Cécile Duflot, who, a member of the junior coalition partner, the Greens, who at the weekend weighed in behind the protests against the airport at Notre-Dame-des-Landes near Nantes. Now, Nantes is, of course, the backyard of Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault, who until 2012 was the mayor, and he has been a target of the protests. One of the slogans has been Ayrault pour no thanks, which is a rather clever pun on the French word for airport. And Ayrault is rather exasperated now. He has asked, not least because the former Green presidential candidate Eva Joly was also at the demonstrations, and the demonstrations, or at least a certain part of them, did spin out of control. And on Sunday, Ayrault, a man not enjoying the smoothest of jobs in recent months, called on the Greens to come down off the fence. And it's, of course, not the first time the Greens and the Socialists have publicly disagreed.
Now, very briefly, Ollie, let's talk about the Winter Olympics in Sochi that have ended on Sunday. It was a success for Russian hosts.
It was, yeah. A lot of the Western media have been picking holes at it, but the New York Times' Sarah Lyles says that it actually wasn't so bad. The Western media, the worries about terrorist attacks proved unfounded, and Russia finished the games with the most medals. And Lyles says that overnight the mood in Russia shifted from a kind of grumbling fatalism to a burst of national pride.
Oliver Ferry, thank you very much. That was Ollie with all of today's newspapers. He'll be back with the International Press Review a little bit later on in the morning.